Doctors can't save the billionaire's baby until the poor black girl did the unthinkable. A billionaire notices his baby stop breathing right there on a hospital floor. Doctors hesitate. Seconds vanish. Alarms scream. Then a poor black girl steps forward and breaks every rule. With a green plastic cup and nothing to lose, she risks everything. Because where she comes from, waiting means death. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments, what time is it and where are you watching from? Let's start. William Thornton noticed something was wrong before anyone else did. It wasn't dramatic at first. No scream, no collapse, just silence. His son, 1-year-old, white, dressed in a bright red onesie, had been squirming in his arms moments ago, fingers tugging at William's tie like he always did. Now Benjamin was still, too still. His small chest moved but shallowly, like breathing had suddenly become work. William leaned closer. "Ben?" No response. Benjamin's lips looked dry, pale. His eyes were half open but unfocused, staring past him. That was when fear hit. Not loud, not cinematic, but cold and surgical, the kind that cut straight through arrogance and money and certainty. "Hey, hey!" Benjamin's head lolled sideways. William didn't shout yet. He didn't panic yet. He did what powerful men do first. He tried to control it. He adjusted his grip, checked his son's face again. Then Benjamin made a faint, choking sound. Not coughing, not crying, just air failing to move the way it should. William turned and shouted, "I need help! Now!" The luxury hospital lobby exploded into motion. Doctors and paramedics rushed from different directions, not running blindly, but moving fast with intent. A gurney was brought forward, but Benjamin suddenly stiffened in William's arms, body arching for a split second before going limp again. "No, no, no!" William dropped to his knees instinctively, lowering his son to the polished marble floor because he couldn't risk the delay of lifting him again. The floor was flat, stable, clear. Doctors surrounded them immediately. "Put him down. Flat. Yes, right there." Oxygen masks, monitoring leads, gloved hands everywhere. Benjamin lay on the floor in his red onesie, tiny against the vast space, his head tilted back as the doctor checked his airway. "Pulse present," someone said. "Oxygen's dropping." "He's breathing, but not effectively." This wasn't a collapse that made sense. They didn't move him to a bed yet because time mattered more than comfort. Airway management happened where the patient was, especially a child this small. Every second spent lifting him was a second without oxygen. William backed away, hands shaking, watching men and women who had trained their entire lives move with terrifying calm. Then something worse happened. Benjamin stopped moving altogether. Not cardiac arrest, not fully, just stuck. His chest tried to rise and failed. A doctor pulled away from the oxygen mask. "Laryngospasm," he said. "Airways reflex closed." Another doctor nodded sharply. "Don't force anything. We wait for it to release." And that was the nightmare, because waiting feels like doing nothing when it's your child on the floor. "Why aren't you doing something?" William shouted. "He's right there." "We are," Dr. Carson said firmly, not looking at him. "Forcing it could kill him." Benjamin's oxygen saturation dipped again. 70, 68. The alarms began. William felt the room tilt, and that was when the girl moved. She had been there longer than anyone realized. A poor black girl, about 10 years old, thin, tired, her beige t-shirt dirty, blue jeans frayed at the knees, braided hair pulled back too tight, as if someone once cared enough to do it properly. She didn't belong in this place of glass and money. Her name was Keisha Williams. She hadn't come for help. She had come for water. She lived 3 streets away, bouncing between her aunt's apartment and wherever she could sleep when rent fell short. Her mother cleaned houses, sometimes hospitals, sometimes rich homes. Keisha came along when she could, learned to stay quiet, invisible. That morning, she had followed her mother to work. Then everything went wrong. Security accused her of wandering, of stealing. She ran. She ran until her chest burned, and now she was here. Watching a baby on the floor, watching something she recognized, not from textbooks, from survival. In her neighborhood, babies didn't get doctors right away. When they froze like that, mouth dry, body stiff, breath locked, you didn't wait. Waiting meant death. She saw Benjamin's lips, dry. She saw his tongue, pulled back. She saw the doctors hesitate, not because they were stupid, but because protocol demands caution. Keisha didn't have protocol. She had memory. Her hand tightened around the bright green plastic cup she had just filled at the water station. She didn't scream. She didn't announce herself. She dropped to her knees beside the baby. "Hey, stop!" Too late. Keisha tilted Benjamin's head, not far, not careless, and poured a thin stream of water across his lips, not into his throat. Just enough to shock the mouth, to trigger swallowing, to wake the reflex his body had locked away. Doctors shouted, "No!" Security lunged, but the water touched his mouth. Benjamin gagged, once, hard. His body jerked violently as the airway snapped open on instinct. Air rushed in. A cry tore out of him, raw, angry, alive. The room froze. Monitors surged. Oxygen climbed. William dropped to the floor, hands covering his face, sobbing without sound. Doctors stared at the girl kneeling beside the baby, water dripping from the green cup onto the marble floor. She hadn't meant to save him. She had meant to stop him from dying. Keisha pulled back immediately, fear crashing over her now. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." Dr. Carson knelt, checking Benjamin quickly, thoroughly. "He's breathing, strongly." No miracle, just timing, just risk. Just instinct colliding with medicine at the exact right second. William looked at the girl for the first time, really looked. Dirty clothes, shaking hands, eyes too old for her face, and he understood something that would haunt him forever. If she hadn't been there, if she had stayed invisible, his son would be dead. That truth settled into William Thornton's chest, heavier than any market crash he had ever survived. Benjamin lay on the marble floor for several more seconds, crying weakly but breathing, small hands clenching and unclenching as doctors surrounded him again, this time with relief instead of fear. Oxygen saturation stabilized. The alarm softened into steady, reassuring beeps. "Okay," Dr. Carson said calmly, firmly. "Let's move him now." They lifted Benjamin carefully onto the gurney, the red onesie streaked with faint watermarks from the spill. He whimpered as they rolled him toward the pediatric unit. William started to follow. Then a hand closed around his sleeve. "Sir!" He turned sharply. It was security. 2 guards now. Their eyes weren't on his son. They were on Keisha. She'd still knelt on the floor, the green plastic cup resting beside her knee, her hand shaking so badly she couldn't stand. The adrenaline had burned out, leaving only fear behind. "She interfered with a medical emergency," one guard said. "She ran in unauthorized." Keisha flinched. I didn't mean—" William stepped between them without thinking. "No." The word came out low. "Absolute." The guards paused. "She didn't interfere," William said. His voice shook. Not with anger, but with something worse. She saved my son. Dr. Carson straightened. That's correct, he said evenly. And if anyone touches her, they'll answer to me. The guards backed off, confused now, embarrassed. Keisha tried to speak again, but her legs gave out. Dr. Carson caught her before she hit the floor. She's dehydrated, he said immediately. Probably hasn't eaten. Keisha's head lolled forward. I'm okay, she whispered, though she clearly wasn't. I just needed water. The irony of it landed hard. They put her on a gurney, too, not as a suspect, as a patient. An hour later, Keisha sat in a quiet examination room wrapped in a thin hospital blanket. Someone had cleaned the dried dirt from her arms. A nurse had given her juice and crackers, which she held like they might disappear if she relaxed her grip. Dr. Carson checked her vitals. You're 10? He asked gently. She nodded. Where's your mother? Keisha hesitated. She works, cleaning jobs. Today she was at another place. I wasn't supposed to come here. William stood in the corner listening. Why were you running earlier? Dr. Carson asked. Keisha stared at the floor. They thought I was stealing. William closed his eyes. Security had done that. His security. They grabbed me, she continued quietly. I got scared. I ran. I didn't know where else to go. Dr. Carson nodded slowly. And you still came back. Keisha shrugged, embarrassed. He was a baby. That was it. No hero speech, no moral explanation, just that. William visited Benjamin first. The pediatric ICU was quieter, softer. Machines hummed instead of screamed. Benjamin slept now, a tiny oxygen tube under his nose, his red onesie replaced with a hospital blanket. William held his son's hand, trembling now that the danger had passed. Then he remembered the girl, and shame followed relief like a shadow. When William returned to Keisha's room, he didn't speak at first. He sat, waited. She noticed his shoes first, clean, expensive, then his hands, shaking like hers had been earlier. I'm sorry, he said finally. Keisha looked up, confused. For what? For not seeing you. She frowned. You saw me? No, William said. I looked past you. He swallowed. My people chased you, treated you like a threat while my son was dying. Keisha's jaw tightened. I tried to tell them, she said softly, but nobody listens to kids like me. That sentence broke something in him. William reached into his jacket, then stopped himself. This wasn't about money yet. What you did today, he said carefully, went against every rule in that room. And it worked. Keisha nodded. Sometimes waiting kills, she said. Where I'm from, you don't wait. Dr. Carson, standing nearby, added quietly, She took a risk doctors aren't allowed to take. William looked at Keisha again, not at her clothes, not at her skin, at her courage. You shouldn't have had to be that brave, he said. She shrugged. I didn't feel brave. I felt scared. That's what makes it count, William replied. Later, when Benjamin woke, crying weakly, William did something he had never done before. He brought Keisha with him. She stood awkwardly at the doorway, unsure she belonged there. Benjamin blinked up at her, then stopped crying. Hey, she said softly. The baby stared, then reached out. William watched his son grab her finger with surprising strength. Something inside him finally gave way. You saved his life, William said, and I won't forget it. Keisha looked at the baby. I'm just glad he's breathing, she said. William nodded. So was he. And for the first time in his life, the billionaire understood something terrifying and true. Money hadn't saved his child. A girl the world tried to erase had. If this moment already made your chest tighten, Don't scroll away. Like this video so more people see stories that matter. Comment below. Should the girl have been stopped, or did she do the only right thing? Share this with someone who believes courage doesn't need permission. Subscribe for real, grounded stories where one decision changes a life forever.